Welcome to the Pitch Shot Chronicles. I am Chats. I am here with Chris from the Talking Rivals podcast. Donald will be here shortly. We will be breaking down what was an amazing night in the Yankee baseball. You have Gerrit Cole tying Guidry. You have Judge finally getting the 61 mark and his reactions with Roger Maris Jr. We'll be breaking that all down. Let's talk some Yankee baseball. All right, welcome back. I am Chats, and again, I am here with Chris. And Chris, how have you been? And tell everybody about your show, Talking Rivals.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me back. Yeah, doing okay. I co-host the Talking Rivals podcast with Patrick Trotty. We cover the Yankees, and we also cover the Red Sox. And we cover really the rest of the league too. And it's a weekly show. On Mondays, usually we tape, and it's it's a lot of fun. We got a trivia question in there. I always try to get Patrick on a tough question, and yeah, it's great, man. We have a good time every week.
Yeah, no, I've been on your show. Those trivia questions are deep.
Sometimes
you dive deep. It's a great show. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. You will not be disappointed. And we were not disappointed in last night's game.
No.
And B, you are the guest. I will let you decide where do you want to attack first. Do you want to talk about Guidry? Do you want to talk about Judge? You let us know how you want to direct.
I guess we got to. I guess we got to start with Judge, right? I mean, it's a shame for Cole. Like his thing, his tying Guidry's mark is kind of like, oh yeah, oh by the way,
Yeah, it is bizarre that happened.
Yeah, but hey, listen. I'm happy Judge got it finally. It would have been great to do it at home. Obviously, he had his chances, but he just couldn't do it. Like I noticed, at least in the Boston series, like they were pitching to him. I think outside of that first game, I think they walked him the first 3 times that he was up. But after that, they seemed to be pitching to him, carefully, but they were pitching to him, right? It wasn't like out and about, they're pitching around him, but they were. I think he had a couple of pitches to hit. He was just missing them. And I'm like, man, I think the pressure is finally getting to him, because the place got really quiet when he got up to bat, changed the balls, all that stuff. And I think it was starting to, Roger Maris Jr. is in the, in the stands and his parents and all that. So, but I thought going on the road would be better. And then finally Toronto started to pitch to him a little bit more, and he finally got a pitch to hit. So, good for him. It sucks for the fan that couldn't catch the ball in left field.
Terrible.
That's like $1 million at least.
We talked about what we would do with the ball if we had caught it. What would you do?
Man. I think it would be crazy not to take it to an auction site and auction it off. But I would give him, what? I would say, Judge, it sounds stupid, but I'd say, what? Pay off my mortgage and give me season tickets for the Yankees for life. I don't think that's asking for a lot, right?
I don't think so. That's better than what I asked for, but no, it was amazing. I thought that having Roger Maris Jr. traveling with them while he waited for the home run to be hit, I give him a lot of credit for wanting to be around, be a part of it, and. I want to take a little side note about his comments about the home run record overall, and with the steroid guys, and how he gives he says that Judge would be the true home run king. Do you buy into that narrative that it's really Judge's record, being that he did it clean?
I'm on the fence, but I'm also I'm in the middle, right? Because I look at the MLB stats, right? When you look at the stats on their MLB.com or Baseball Reference, Barry Bonds' numbers there, Mark McGwire's numbers are all there. There's no asterisk. So those are, legit or not, they're in the record book, right? And like, we don't know how many people took steroids back then. We know those guys did, obviously. but there were others that took it. We just don't know the exact amount. Was it 50%, 70%, whatever it is? It is what it is. To me, it was part of baseball in whatever way you want to put it. It was part of the game at that time. That was that era. But if you take away those 4 or 5 years where steroids was just going ridiculously, was going crazy, yeah, Judge definitely has the record. And to me, well, Judge at least has the American League record for sure.
Yeah.
Right. But it's hard. I'm half and half because they took steroids, but the numbers are in the record book still. MLB has to acknowledge it because they don't know how many people that took steroids back then. Right. So it's kind of hard. It's very cloudy to me, but it is what it is. What's up? What
is up? Sorry about that, guys. So, Aaron Judge, baby. Chris, how you doing, man?
Yeah, we were getting the one discussion out, off the table with Roger Maris Jr.'s comments on Judge being the real home run champion, as opposed to the guys that dabbled with the steroids. And Chris was making a point. We don't know what the percentages were, which is a very fair point. If 90% of the players were involved with something, it's hard to say, that they were unjust. So it's really a very tricky situation when it comes to the records because of that era.
So what I would do is I'd put an asterisk on McGuire and Sosa and Bonds, and then you just kind of just basically say, implicated on the Mitchell report without proof. Make your own conclusion from that, because you can't just say, all right, Barry Bonds, that 73 home run year that doesn't count. It's good. That's hard to say without proof. And even though there might be physical evidence of him just being the size of a freaking house, I mean, there's not actually any proof that he was doing anything. And also, he was an awesome player anyway. So I don't want to just get rid of just records just for the sake of it. But I think you can leave it to people's own conclusions. I think that there is an argument to say that Aaron Judge is probably the rightful home run king, but without any proof that these guys were using, then you can't just write out their record. So just put a little asterisk and then close the book on that. I think that's probably the safest way so that everyone's happy. I don't think they'd be happy, but it's better than having their records completely expunged.
Yeah, it's such a gray area. I don't think there is a right or a wrong answer to it. This is that's just the history that's just we can't change the history books because we don't like how it happened.
Exactly.
So it's a very gray area. I think it's great that they actually did separate it with the NL record and the AL record. So it's very it is what it is. It's pretty much, but the way that Judge was able to finally get that, get it out of.
Elliot coming out with the asterisk. No to asterisk. I wouldn't go down that rabbit hole. Are we putting an asterisk next to Ruth because his feat was accomplished in the white players only?
Oh, that's true. That's a whole other gray area.
That is a rabbit hole.
Now we're really.
He was right.
But
that is a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we could spend 2 hours on the legitimacy topic. And it's still you won't have a right or wrong answer directly.
No. In fairness, Elliot, one of the people that actually said that there should be asterisks was actually David Cohn. David Cohn said there should be an asterisk. So, what I'm saying isn't outlandish at all. So
no, it's not. It's not. It just I think what Spencer says. I think it opens up that whole other rabbit hole because now it's like. You put an asterisk on that one, but then you got to put an asterisk on Babe Ruth because of he only played against the white players, and it's just it's but
isn't the issue steroids?
I think
cheating, and obviously that's nothing that Babe Ruth had any control over.
No, of course not.
So I think that I think the issue is the steroids. So
yeah,
I just don't know how you could. What I'm trying to say is how do you tell Barry Bonds that his record doesn't count anymore, just for Aaron Judge, without
Right.
real evidence. So I think that might be just the safest way of just leaving it to your own conclusions.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So then, Mets fan, Judges hit 20 more home runs than anybody else this season. That's the impressive part to me. Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
His home run pace. I think that's what made the story even more of a story. We knew it was going to be a headline, but now it's like in big bold print.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that he's been dominating with his offense. And it's not just it's not like he's got a 200 batting average hitting 61 home runs. He's also on the verge of winning a triple crown.
Unbelievable.
So his season this year, and in a contract year that he turned down,
right?
What was it? The 200 plus, and gambled on himself, and he beat the house 10 times over.
Right, that's more incredible because imagine, let's just say, for example, he gets hurt this year. Somebody hits him with a pitch and he breaks his wrist or something. He's out for half the year. Look how much money he would have lost because I don't think he's not going to get that money again, right? But now he comes back, he wins the Triple Crown, he breaks the home run record, the American League home run record. I mean,
he could be looking at $300 million.
Oh, easy, man, easy. He made himself $100 million this year, easily. Yep. It's crazy.
Amazing.
It is. It's totally amazing.
No, because and that's what the Yankees need to realize is, regardless of where Judge plays, Judge comes out the winner, because he'll have that whole marketability on this season, and that'll carry with him no matter what team he goes to. So that's where the Yankees need to be very cautious with the negotiations. But we'll dive a lot deeper into that in the off season, of course. But
what I loved was the embrace between Maris and Judge's mom. I thought that was really special.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the generations tied together right there.
You know what I was curious? How long did it take McGuire to break the record that year? Remember, because Maris was there too. The Maris family was there too. I wonder how many days he had to follow McGuire around. Probably not as long. I'm gonna guess.
I wouldn't think so.
He was hitting him like every other game. It seemed like.
Yeah. It might have just been a couple of games, but I don't think it was like a week.
Yeah.
But let's get to Elliot's comment here. In my opinion, it's baseball's fault that they don't do more to restrict PhDs. It's their fault they make fans care about these records, and they have to live with the disparity. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. That's a very good point. They caused this problem, and they have also had fans, leave the sport that they love because of that, or because of the controversies, and wait for the next generation like us to come along and rebuild it. And a lot of those fans never came back. Just like a lot of fans never came back after the strike year in the 80s. So what was it? In the 90s was the strike, 93, right? So, it was baseball had their PR problems are insane.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
PEDs do not help you hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Yeah, you still have to have the talent to hit the ball.
You still have to have the talent. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. The talent was there. We seen Bonds technically before he started taking steroids. I think it was in '99. Before that, I mean, the guy was already a Hall of Famer. The guy was an amazing player. I mean, it's not
Chuck
like
Knobloch was on steroids. Melky Cabrera was on steroids.
Those guys,
did you see them hit 60 home runs, 50 home runs? No.
How about Brady Anderson? That was the more extreme, right?
Yeah, that was real.
Come on. And then 20.
I mean, obviously, big guys get a little bit of a boost. Like, remember that year that Glenn Allen Hill was a Yankee? I think he was on steroids as well that year, and every single pitch was a home run. I love that guy, but there's those kind of instances, but you have to have the power originally in order to.
Well, you have to have the talent.
And the talent, yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't convince me that once again, this rabbit hole. You can't convince me that A-Rod and Barry Bonds don't deserve first ballot Hall of Fame
Well, that's why
spots.
I made the statement the other day on the show that if you're going to acknowledge the records, they have to be acknowledged in the Hall of Fame.
1,000,000%.
You can't choose what history you want to remember.
Right.
Life doesn't work that way.
No.
Like I said before, just because you don't like the result doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
You learn from it, you move forward, and you do better.
Put it on the plaque.
Very wise, man. Very wise.
Put Bonds in, but put on the plaque. He played during the steroid era and was.
When you live for 100 years, you learn a few things.
Right.
Well, you were there for the original 61, so you've learned a lot, man.
How was that day anyway?
Oh, it was a beautiful day. Yeah.
Funny day.
But the crowd was into it. But no. The fact that now that he's got the 61, we had said that we thought he was going to get to the mark on the road and then come home to break it. And I think it'll be really cool if he's able to get the 62 in the Baltimore series. What are the odds now that he got this? He got to 61. Which game of the 3-game set do you think he can hit the next one?
What are the pitching matchups? I didn't even look, to be honest. Do you know who's pitching for Baltimore? Maybe we could look that way. I hope he does break it. I hope he hits at least one at Yankee Stadium,
Well, the Royals have not announced any of their starters yet.
I'll say this. He's going to hit a bunch. I think he's going to hit multiple home runs in the Texas series.
So,
yeah.
I think tomorrow, for one, I think he's going to do it because I'm just going to go with what Barry Bonds said. The hardest to hit was 61.
Yeah.
After that, it got a hell of a lot easier. You go on a little run after that.
Yeah.
What I loved about that at bat that Aaron Judge hit the home run was that there was about 3 pitches in that at bat that he just missed, that he was just fouling off, and he was just underneath on a couple of occasions. And what he did was he took a step out of the batter's box and took a little walk around, got himself calm again, and then he went back into the batter's box. And the next pitch he saw, he absolutely smashed it. That's what I loved about that at bat was there was pitches to hit earlier in that at bat. He knew it himself. He took himself out. He got himself together. He's like, right, give me one more fucking pitch, and he did.
Yeah. All he needed was one more. No, yeah. I think his at bats through this whole thing, between 60 and 61, were some of the more competitive at bats that he's had. I mean, like we said yesterday, I give a lot of credit to the Blue Jays pitches. They challenged them, a lot of 3-2 counts, full counts. They wanted to just throw it up the 4 fingers and walking them. So it was, they weren't making it easy on him, but he wasn't getting overly aggressive at the plate. So he took the pitches that were given to him. So that's what I enjoyed the most out of the wait, because every at bat there was that possibility. It's not like they were automatically taking the bat out of his hand.
Well, he was walked 5 straight times. So, which is obscene.
But on 3-2 counts with those walks.
Right.
Right, but then instead of throwing fastballs, they were throwing changeups outside the zone. They did not want to throw him a fastball. So they weren't pitching around him necessarily, but they kind of were as well. It's like okay, well, we don't want to give you a fastball. And the only time that he really could have hit a home run was that at bat that he did.
Yeah.
So in that entire Blue Jays series, because he never really got a pitch to hit until then.
I think he got some pitches to hit, just not a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I noticed it more in the Boston series was outside of the first game. They were definitely, obviously they walked him, I think, the first 3 times. But I think after that, those guys were challenging him, but maybe they gave him 1 or 2 pitches to hit. After that, then they went to what you're saying, Donald, like the change up outside or nothing, no fastballs. But they weren't trying to walk him, but they weren't trying to give him anything to hit either, kind of. They were very careful with pitches. But he did get a few, because if you notice, if you went back in the Boston series, he missed a couple of pitches right over the plate that, a month ago he was smashing them into the up,
That's a fact. That's 100%.
Yeah. No, it's not. going back to what you said with Bonds, 61 is the hardest one to hit.
Mm-hmm.
When you're reaching that level of home runs, and you're passing a guy from an era that was revered, that's a lot of pressure on a player. Whether he's the first one to do it or he may be the last one to do it, the pressure of that has got to be tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
But,
what did you guys think of Rizzo's managerial debut?
He won. He did good. I like that he started Peraza.
I love that. I love that.
I want to see more of that.
I love that.
I think it's really cool that they do that. And I think I heard them say that started in Torrey's era.
Yeah, I remember O'Neill getting a manager's job at the end, for like a game.
Yeah, I think it's once they know that they've clinched, I think they kind of relax a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but no, I thought Rizzo did a really good job constructing the lineup. I mean, I was a little annoyed that he put Hicks in, but it is what it is. Even everybody, with Hicks, what makes it frustrating is he's almost got that mentality where he's that little leaguer that just, he gets it at bat because his dad, paid for him to be there. That little league mentality where everybody gets in at bat.
Right.
That's Hicks.
Right.
There's no merit to it. It's because you signed up, you could play. And it's that's just terrible.
It is.
But,
what about Aaron Hicks getting himself thrown out? Because
I
was so pissed off. I couldn't. Oh my God, I couldn't stand that. I cannot stand that man. I truly despise that man with every bone in my body. I cannot.
How hard is it to go halfway?
Yeah.
Look, and if it drops, go. And if
Exactly.
it catches it, you go back. Like, how hard is that to?
and Ozzy was pissed. Ozzy was.
Oh yeah.
My God, he was pissed.
And
Boone had to speak to him afterwards, I think. Ozzy, to calm him down because he was pissed, and rightfully so. I mean, that's just little league stuff. I don't even think you do that in little league. I mean, that's just a dude that doesn't care, and I'll take that to the house, take that to the bank. Aaron Hicks does not care about his craft.
What made it worse is he finishes with a 3-for-3 night, and that's what we remember.
I don't care about his I only care about the times where he looks around and doesn't show like he gives a crap. So.
No, because every time he's starting to do something, he's contributing to the team. He does something to take it away.
Yeah,
that's what pisses us all off.
Mm-hmm.
But on a positive note, I love that Rizzo in his very first managerial opportunity was like, you see that shortstop that you don't want to play? We're playing him, and we're also putting him in the cleanup spot. He's going to bat over 300.
Right, and he got a couple of hits, man.
That's what he's going to do. He's like, that IKF guy you love? He's not playing today.
I think Rizzo should manage the rest of the way.
Absolutely. Rizzo should a lot.
Yeah.
Make him the bench coach. Plus the first baseman.
Yeah. Torres was the bench coach yesterday. It was. I think that also helped Judge relax. Kind of like the pressure's off. And they were just going. They're able to go out there and just play a baseball game. All the pressure was on the Jays because they're still in a wild card hunt. So the pressure not on the Yankees, the playing around with the managerial, the coaching. I thought it was a perfect day for that.
Mm-hmm. What I loved about it, on a positive note, is that in terms of Aaron Boone, I like that touch. I like that. It's kind of almost like it's an inclusive thing. It's like everybody's kind of together in the process. Everyone's fighting for the one goal. And I think I like that about once they clinch the division, then you give the players an opportunity to take part in the decision making. I think that's really good for like chemistry and team spirit. So although we're kind of making jokes about it, I think Aaron Boone deserves credit for that decision, that touch. He doesn't have to do that, but he did, and I like that a lot. I've seen that Joe Torre do that a couple times back in the day. So it was a good touch from Boone.
Well, we would have seen it a lot more if they would have, handled their business in the division a lot more.
That's true. For a number of years.
But no, I think it's really cool that they continued that after Torrey. So it's just something that, like you said, is kind of exclusive to us. You don't see teams doing that, and what that it's just that breath of fresh air. It's like, all right, we got past the first hurdle. Now let's focus on.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't say it's exclusive to us. It's inclusive in terms of everyone kind of coming together in the decision-making process. I don't know. I actually can't speak for other teams because I don't watch other teams, when they clinch their divisions. But I certainly think that was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
No, Chris, give us your prediction on the rest of the season. How do you think it's going to go with the Orioles and the Rangers?
Well, I think the Yankees are going to just try to slot in who they think, especially in the bullpen, right? Like who they trust the most, who's going to end up being the closer. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a closer by committee, which I hate. I don't know how you guys feel, but I know
I hate it too. I hate it too.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think they have to, the way everybody's been pitching. But I think if they could straighten out that bullpen and figure it out, and whatever works, I really don't care. But I think that's the key. And then the rest, I think, is going to take care of itself. The next few days, you got to see how DJ LeMahieu reacts, like his toe or whatever the hell is bothering him. How is he going to go forward? Is he going to be a player? If he can handle it, if he can handle it, great. Then he's going to be on the playoff roster. And then, where are we going to put these guys? Where does Cabrera play? Does Benintendi come back? I think the next, whatever it is, 7 games, I think it's going to be more about who we got, who's going to be going forward, where are we going to slot these guys in the lineup? Here's another thing. Can they figure out Stanton? Can they get him going? I mean, he's like, other than that walk-off grand slam, I mean, he's done nothing. Right, since he came back from the IL. So,
Stanton's been he's a big part of what needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
I think it's him and the bullpen, and I think you need to use these games to see who's going to work out in what spot, what inning the bullpen guys are most comfortable with, or you have the most confidence with them in. So I think that's what you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot of experiments in the next couple, the next 2 series to close out the season.
If we want the Yankees to get to where they need to go, Stanton has to get himself together.
Yeah,
there's no shot of advancing the playoffs without Stanton. But I actually have faith that he will, because Stanton in the playoff is a different animal. He's already shown that he's a different dude in the playoffs. But I think there's an element of health, and I think there's clearly something off with his batting stance. It's very open right now, and he's not moving his hips through the zone enough, and his footwork isn't there either. So he's kind of leaning, and that happens when he's stone cold. But when he's hot, he's able to reach all pitches.
We've seen him in the playoffs, so definitely.
Yeah, he is an animal in the playoffs, and it'll help Aaron Judge as well, because we don't want to be in a position where the middle of the order can't hit, because then they're never going to pitch to Aaron Judge at all. So if you need Rizzo, I don't worry about. Stanton, we definitely need to get hot. Elliot Cole, 248 Ks. Well, yeah, I mean, Taz has it as one of the issues of discussion, so we got to get it covered.
No, that will be one of the closing points. I did not forget. No, I did not.
Elliot's here to remind you, man.
That's right.
Elliot's here to remind you.
Wait a minute, he knows where to find me. I'm surprised.
Sounds like a challenge. It sounds like that sounded ominous there, man.
Yep, but no, Cole's had one of the most perplexing seasons from a pitcher that I think I've seen, because
well put.
There are days that he's just dominant, but not consistent enough to be a threat.
It's perplexing is the perfect word. What I take from it, I don't know what. I'll ask Chris first. First of all, though, what did you think of his season to this point?
Yeah, that's a perfect way to say it. And I think last night's outing was a perfect example of his entire season. Right? He goes 5 innings. and he's throwing a perfect game through 5 innings, and then the 6th inning he gives up 1 hit. I'm like, oh, that's it. It's all over. Now he's gonna. I think for him, like he's got top 10 stuff, right? He's got elite stuff, but the problem is mentally he can't make the adjustments in game. Like if something doesn't go his way, he's like all over the place. Like he can't concentrate, whatever it is. That to me is his downfall. Like mentally, if he doesn't get the call right, or if he doesn't, if the guy gets a hit that he thought, oh, I threw the perfect pitch, he shouldn't have got a hit. He doesn't know how to react. He doesn't say, all right, the guy beat me. All right, I'm going to get the next guy. Yeah. I don't know if he's – that's the one part of the game. And I don't know – yeah, and I don't know if he could fix – like how do you fix that mental part of it? You got to try to like just zone out and just concentrate on your game. And I don't know. To me, that's his biggest issue because he's got great stuff. I just don't – that's why I always say he's not an ace. He's got ace stuff. He's ace caliber in that sense, but the mental part of it, he's not an ace because he can't handle if something doesn't go right. And if everything is put on him, like we seen last year in the wild card game, like if everything is put on him, he just falters. But if you slot him in as the number 2, like he was with Houston, the guy pitches like an ace, but he's not an ace, right? So I don't know how to. It's so weird with him.
So yeah, if you want the positive, you want the negative. The positive, first of all, is he's got the stuff. He's got ace stuff. In fact, I could even say that he probably has the best stuff in baseball because he was pitching a perfect game through the first 5 innings against a monstrous offense.
Yeah.
But once one thing goes wrong, then it all crumbles down like a deck of cards. And that's what it is. It's been that way since every single start since the All-Star break. I have never seen anything quite like it before. There's games where he legitimately goes 6 innings of no-run ball, and you start switching off thinking, oh, man, he's got this. This is great. And then, you maybe go get a cup of coffee, go get a beer from the fridge or a Pepsi. You come back, and they're winning. They've scored 5 runs. Right. That's what's happened. It's like that's what's happened. Like it's perplexing. He's got the stuff, but as soon as there's a defensive mistake, usually from IKF, he usually collapses.
Right.
He usually collapses mentally. He can't handle one mistake, and then it just and that's what happened again yesterday. It just continues to spiral. I don't know what is wrong with that because he's got the stuff.
Right.
Matt Blake has to go and talk to him, and then it's like it happens every single start. I think he's perplexed. I know he's perplexed because this is the most home runs he's probably ever given up. And it's not been that bad a year, which is weird. It's not like, he gives up that amount of home runs. You think, oh my God, he's had the worst year ever. But 3.50 ERA, and now he's got he's tied the strikeout record, which Spencer's desperate to point out here. 248 was remarkable how Guidry's feet stood this long since almost 50 years.
Totally great, right?
But think of how
the stuff is there.
He could have shattered the record if he didn't go off the hinges every game. If you didn't have those innings that just went completely off the rails, he would have easily hit the 300 mark.
Yeah,
and that's what makes perplexing the word of the day. Because he's got everything. He's got everything in his pocket. He just doesn't know how to use it. He gets so into his own head. He can't, take a walk around the mound, mess with the Rosenberg a little bit, clear your head.
Yeah.
Take a couple of seconds, take a couple of breaths, and then get back on the mound. So
I don't have confidence in him like I did with Pettit or Clemens. He's like the Clemens. Exactly. He's not a stopper. Yeah. Like Clemens and Pettit were stoppers. Same with CC Sabathia. Same with El Duque. You know that they were going to give you an awesome outing when you desperately needed it. Garrett Cole isn't that guy. And it's strange because he's got the best stuff in baseball. But damn, it's all in there.
Yeah.
It's all between the ears.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing, like getting back to the record, the Yankee record, the K record, like it's amazing that it's taken this long for somebody to at least match it, right? Like what do you think is the biggest reason for that? Is our failure to not be able to get a starting pitcher that's been like that dominant Like, who have we drafted in the last 40 years outside of Pettit that's been that dominant?
Yeah.
I mean, that's right. But, I mean, I would argue that CC Sabathia probably has had a better year, had better years than Garrett Cole. And he's a strikeout guy. So it is actually a record that deserves a lot of credit, but it's going to be completely forgotten about, because Aaron Judge is having the greatest season possibly in baseball history. And also Garrett Cole's given up a record number of home runs, which is why it's perplexing.
Yeah.
But as I say, I think the proof is in the pudding that he's got the best stuff in baseball, the fact that he's tied this record. But he's given up these home runs because he often, I think it's all location with him. He leaves pitches up in the zone and they get tattooed. So
I think what's even more remarkable about the record from Guidry's point of view is the era that he did it. Now everybody strikes out. If a team strikes out 13 times in a game, it's no big deal. Like nobody, except for us as fans watching, they're not worried about strikeouts. You had players striking out 13 times in a season. And here it is, teams are striking out that much in a game. So there's two different versions of baseball that these records were hit. As impressive as this year has been from Cole, Guidry's has to be considered more impressive.
That's a great point, because that's the exact point that Michael Kay made yesterday. Because he said that in this modern era, strikeout is not that much of a problem as it used to be. So that has something to do with why the strikeout numbers are so high this year.
And Guidry, think about this. The year he did it, okay, he was 25-3, right? And his ERA was 1.74. He had 16 complete games and 9 shutouts in 273 and 2/3 innings.
Chris, looking up the stats.
That's crazy.
His record that year is well, I think it's like one of those. It's one for the ages.
He was Cy Young, and he was second in MVP that year as well.
And for
damn,
insane.
Chris, you're blowing us out the water here, man. We need to have you on more often.
Trying to help out, man. Trying to give us perspective here on the year.
Yeah. Do you think that over time, what Cole was able to do last night will be looked at in a better way, as opposed to all the attention going to the night that Judge did it? You think over time Cole gets the same amount of recognition?
No, I don't think so. Just because, I mean, look at the seasons. I know it's a different era, right? So, and like Donald said, and we were saying, like, the K's, they don't care about strikeouts anymore. I don't think that's even, I don't think anybody cares about that anymore. But when you look at the years, when you compare them, I mean, Cole doesn't even have a complete game this year. Meanwhile, Guidry had 16. The innings pitched were like 80. I mean, that's more, I guess that's impressive that he did it in 80 less innings. But other than that, it's different eras. I still think, you said it earlier. I mean, Guidry's year was so much more impressive than Cole's. I mean, it's great. 240 Ks. That's awesome. That's a really good year. But it's also, like we said earlier, it's perplexing because the guy gave up 31 home runs. His ERA is 3.5. It's almost 2 runs more than what Guidry gave up that year.
Yep.
The average league batting average this year is around about 230, 235, right? Which tells you everything.
Right.
Back then, in the 70s, in the 80s, hitting for contact and I guess the guys like we've had on in the past, world's very first DH, he had a very different philosophy. Ron Blomberg, his philosophy was making contact, whatever it takes, take singles the other way, whatever. That isn't prioritized anymore. The fundamentals of baseball, the fundamentals of hitting is out the window. It's all about launching.
Back then, if you were hitting under 300, you were losing your job.
Exactly. If you were hitting, 250 now, is amazing.
Yeah, you hit 300
amazing.
now. It's oh my god, look at the season he's having.
He's having an amazing year. 250, but 250 back then, you're out of a job.
Yeah,
Guidry gave up 13 home runs that year compared to 31 that Colas.
Oh my god,
that's just insane.
Yeah,
but Chris, it was a great time chatting with you today, and
thanks for having me.
Chris and I were discussing. We will be having a joint round table between us and the Talking Rivals with his partner Patrick, and we'll be breaking down the end of the regular season. So, and also looking ahead to the postseason bracket and making some predictions, having a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to doing that.
That'll be great. Chris, could you tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you?
You can find me at CP7NY on Twitter. The show is called Talking Rivals. You can catch us on Twitter at Talking Rivals. Catch my partner, Patrick Trotty, at Patrick Trotty. He covers the Red Sox, so boo on him. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Great guy. He's a great baseball guy. Definitely give him a follow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Next week, I'd love to break down the Yankee season, and then let's see what's going on in the playoffs. Especially around.
We had to give Chris a break, man, because he's been holding the fort as the lone Yankee on SportsWire Radio.
Yeah,
literally the lone Yankee voice in a whole world of Met fans. And he's had to brave it and put a brave smile on his face. I
hear it, man, every day. And I get like, oh, they're great. That's a great.
We're looking at the chat last night, and it was all about the Met game. And it was an afterthought about Aaron Judge's home run. And I thought, oh, man, poor freaking Chris. Poor Chris, man. We got to get him around some Yankee fans so he can
be
around some real baseball.
I know. It's not
Maybe
good.
We just need to do a better job in the chat. Yeah, give him
I'm trying, man. I throw as much up there, but nobody. It's like, Judge just hit his 61st home run, and then like, oh, the Mets. Oh, they just gave up a run. Like, who cares, dude?
Exactly.
We just got history here.
But Chris can attest to this. I dropped a bomb and then walked off in the chat.
That was awesome. I love that. I gotta do that every once in a while.
I've been ignoring the chat for months now because I'm just sick of all this Met talk. So I just walked in and just put a little comment in going, oh, it's really sweet that the fifth franchise in New York are having a decent season. Kudos, Met fans.
Great. It's like
Yankees,
Judge flat out last night.
Fucking Knicks.
A notch above the Long Island Ducks.
The New York Rangers are probably bigger than the Mets. I mean, the Mets are probably their 6th or 7th.
Right.
Let's face it.
Like I was breaking the chops to one of the guys I work with because after Judge's fly out, he's he sucks. He's not. Oh, he's not going to hit it. He's not going. I'm like, what? Talk to me when your team clinches that division.
Right.
I just walked out of the room. Yeah. So, but you have been watching Pinstripe Chronicles on Northeast Streaming Sports, listening on SportsWire Radio, watching on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for the comments. Spencer, go for that boat ride. I didn't forget that. So,
what kind of boat ride? Is this like a Sopranos boat ride?
Very hard.
Is that the kind of boat ride we're talking? Or
I have no idea. But I'll bring my fishing gear and hope.
I'm concerned, man.
Yeah,
Wes, you gonna be all right?
You may not see Spencer again.
All right, where your pinstripes?
Spencer's a dark horse.
And play
hard. Get on his good side. All love, Spencer. Thank you, man.
Yes, always. Thank you.